The Silent Battle, Part 2. Telling someone, anyone, was terrifying. I had always prided myself on being independent, on handling things on my own. But I knew I couldn't do that anymore. The weight of the anxiety was too much. I made an appointment with a therapist, a decision that felt both incredibly relieving and terrifying at the same time. It was going to be one great jump into the unknown, which alone was enough to trigger my anxiety. Still, deep down inside, I knew it was the right thing to do. I couldn't keep on pretending that everything was great. The first session was all I had feared and hoped for. Walking into the therapist's office felt like entering a new world. A world wherein my anxiety was no longer something to hide, but was facing me. The therapist was nice, but firm. And for the first time in my life, I allowed myself to be vulnerable. I talked about everything, about the panic attacks, the continuous dread, the fear something terrible was always just waiting around the corner. And much to my surprise, she didn't judge me. She didn't tell me to just calm down or get over it. Instead, she listened. She confirmed how I was feeling. That confirmation was the first step towards healing. A simple little thing, yet it meant the world to me. I wasn't broken. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't weak. I actually had something real going on that required attention. Therapy didn't fix me overnight, but it gave me the tools to begin to cope with my anxiety. I learned coping strategies, simple things like deep breathing, grounding exercises, and mindfulness that helped me stay grounded when the panic attacks hit. It didn't stop the anxiety from coming, but it helped me manage it, to take control when it threatened to overwhelm me. For the first time, I also started to understand the nature of my anxiety. I wasn't just worrying for no reason. My brain was responding to stress in ways that I hadn't realized. I started to see things like patterns and triggers that I hadn't noticed before. I started to give myself permission to not be perfect, to not have everything under control. That was perhaps the hardest lesson of all. I had spent so many years trying to control everything, trying to be the person who had everything figured out. But that was never realistic. Anxiety feeds off of the illusion of control. The more I released this compulsion to control every single little thing, the more freedom I found. Over the following months, I began a steady improvement. I learned to be kinder to myself, to forgive myself for not having all the answers. I started taking better care of my mental health, just as I did with my physical health. Working out more, eating healthier, and making time for things that kept me joyful. I reached out to friends when I needed support, something I never allowed myself to do before. Slowly but surely, I began to reclaim my life from the anxiety that had once consumed me. But the most important thing I learned was that anxiety doesn't define me. Yes, it's a part of me, but it's not all that I am. I am more than my anxiety. I am a person who has dreams, ambitions, and a future ahead. I am the type of person who is strong enough to overcome my fears, ask for help if I need it, and keep on moving no matter how ragged the road is. The answers elude me at this time, but I know I have the capability of finding them, and that, above all else, gives me hope. Today, I'm still not cured. There are days when anxiety seems to be overwhelming, that I feel like I'm back to square one. But now I know how to handle it. I have the tools, support, strength to see it through. I'm not perfect, but I am real. I have come to understand that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay not to have everything figured out in your head. I'm no longer ashamed of my battles. I have found my voice, and it is mighty on the hardest days. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm winning the silent battle.